a government shutdown would backfire the most on Republicans.
I agree with this, and I think the main reason doesn't actually have to do with anything politically in terms of voter perception heading into the midterms or into the general in 2028. This is all about time, right? Donald Trump, we've talked about it, has all of the political goodwill, a landslide election victory in November, to get as much as he can possibly get done in the first 100 days. If the government shuts down, that means everything that DOGE is doing is also going to be shut down. They just got this big legal win last week that allowed those engineers back into Treasury to track all of these payments and try and unravel the mysteries behind these payment systems, which Elon Musk and DOGE are saying, that's why we got some faulty information and put it on our wall of receipts, not because we're doing bad work. This is a huge, huge speed bump in what Donald Trump is trying to do. And again, like you talked about in your monologue, it's not like it's only DOGE, right? He's trying to get this one big, beautiful bill done. He's trying to advance his policies on immigration. He's trying to, renew his tax cuts. He's trying to do a whole bunch of other things, like the child tax credit, which again was started in 2017 in those Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Josh Hawley is proposing making those permanent now. There's so much that Donald Trump wants to get done, and because of how politically caustic DOGE is, the longer it sticks around, and the less likely they'll be able to move on to some of these other down list items in a timely manner and maintain that momentum and that goodwill on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to quibble with anything you just said. You have the situation where we're going to get two more Republicans to slightly widen the margin, the special elections to replace Matt Gaetz, Mike Walz. You had one Democrat die. That sounds so cynical, but okay.
But it happened.
So you've expanded the margin to maybe 6.
Yeah.
And let's assume you always have a Thomas Massie who's just going to vote no on anything that gets anything done. And, Nancy Mace always needs to find a TV camera to make something on about. So realistically, what is your actual margin you're working with in the House for the TCJA? And the stakes, remember, beginning of 2026, midterm election year, if the TCJ is not reauthorized, it is a tax hike on 62% of households, an average tax increase on 22% of all Americans, and the expected automatic deductions are halved for the 90% of Americans that take the standard deduction, right? Like the default before this was that people, individual workers, middle class folks had to individually itemize every little piece of their income and their expenditures. Now, under TCJA, you have that larger tax extension. So it affects everyone in ways you don't even think, right? The top marginal tax rate for these small businesses, there are 26 million of them that take this special filing. The top marginal tax rate on those businesses would go back up to 43.4%. That's a huge tax rate. And so you're running at the clock because think of it going backwards. If you're a Democrat and Republicans haven't figured this out before Christmas and you're staring down a Christmas vote, Republicans are going to give you anything that you want in exchange for preventing that tax hike, right?
They're going to be desperate.
They're going to give you Green New Deal, transing the children. I don't think people will understand the panic the stock market will see with you're already seeing just over the threat of tariffs that haven't even really fully gone into effect, but kind of. You're already seeing Dow down 8% or whatnot at opening bell on Monday.
I saw NASDAQ was 7.5. Yeah, it's a bloodbath out there.
I don't think people understand all the Silicon Valley elites you've seen lining up behind Trump to get it done. This is why. Because it's the backbone of not just the American economy, but also future prospective growth in the West. Because it's not coming from Europe. Europe's economy is contractionary now.